Right. Hello, future Jack. This is the D&D campaign, hosted by Mega and played by you. Say hello to yourself in the future.
Hi, Jack. You're a butthole.
Okay, so before we get to it, I'm going to give off a feedback of what's so far. So, Jack's character, what's your name?
Alistair Bell.
Alistair Bell was in his homeland where he's a prince. The name of your homeland is? You're gonna have to forgive me for names. It's a part of my dyslexia. Sidonia, and he was the prince of the king in his homelands. But he never was. They never really let in any outsiders, and they're quite closed off their own borders. They're quite a spiritual-based people. They have loads of skills and talents focused in spiritual energy. That land focuses on it. One day, Alistair disagreed with his father, and they got into a huge argument. His father forbid him and said he will never, ever leave. So, he stormed off in a rush, in a fit, and like a grumpy little baby. The first boat he saw, he snuck on into a crate, didn't even look in it, and closed it on top. A couple days passed, and a couple wine bottles smashed. He landed on the ports of... What was the name of the... I had the name. What's the name of the continent? The land of... what was it? Rhea? Was it Rhea? I think it was Rhea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the land of Rhea, a frozen Iceland, but not to Alistair's memory. Alistair was hiding on the boat when an old man was talking to some guards who seemed quite peculiar, ice-armoured and holding blue flame torches. They got angry with him for not having the supplies. Alistair snuck out the box and hid behind the port station. The guards got angry and beat up the old man and stormed off on their fancy carriage. Alistair met the locals, two older gentlemen, who explained to Alistair that the land was owned by the god king called Sis, a great powerful wizard mage who took over and became the dictator of the lands. Alistair, wanting to get past the checkpoint, did some work and earned some money and got through the checkpoint. Alistair then arrived on the town, and the first thing he saw was this huge giant ice statue of the King Prince himself, and he saw people at its feet. It seems to be showing him much respect. Alistair wandered through the town, seeing many townsfolk, but not really many of his own people at all. People didn't even really notice he was even there. He got to the first place he went to was the church. The moment entering it, he saw another ice throne with a statue of the King Prince again, and seeing a dwarven man and an older man begging at its feet. Immediately he was approached by a demon femboy, who came up to him and asked him, "Welcome to these lands." They had a conversation, and he suggested that he should pray to the God King like he was a divine. Alistair questioned this, but remained respectful. Then he met the first questionable individual, the head priest, who was a demon ice mage, but had a different aura about him. Everything about him seemed off to Alistair. Alistair, though, didn't want to get on his wrong side, asked for help. Is this good, by the way? Is this what I'm doing right now? Is this good for you, for your future?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ask for help. So, the demon priest grinned and said, we need help graffiti. Alistair Bell accepted the quest and head off. Alistair Bell hid in the distance and saw a dwarven man sneak round the corner. Alistair hid behind the corner and tried to sneakily peek round the corner, but absolutely failed and just ended up staring the dwarf in the face. A couple moments later, Alistair had convinced the dwarf that he was a friend and wanted to help. The dwarf broke down in tears and to claim how the king was monstrous and how he couldn't get medicine for his daughter, while the dwarf spread out his speech about his daughter and why he was angry. Alistair grabbed the dwarf and screamed for the guards. The guards came up, arrested the dwarf, and brought him to the priest. Alistair watched at the distance as the priest didn't even hear out the dwarf, but merely froze him and killed him on the spot. Alistair knew that this individual was not to be messed with, but Alistair was paid well for his duties, knowing that this priest pays well but has questionable morals. Alistair went through the town to meet the individuals. Some time passed and Alistair took a couple jobs. He did a job for a doctor and went into the inner district. The inner districts of this village seemed different. The whole area was walled off and it was like a small fort. When Alistair went into the small fort, he saw what a lovely-looking palace. Now, as Alistair's royalty immediately knew that this was the mayor's home. Though how he read in the book seemed a bit different due to the ice-themed, Alistair did not question this design. He went into a building and had to wait in an awful long line and tried his best and slapped a lizard's booty, but didn't really get anywhere. He then finally got to the front of the line where he met an old dwarf who was the head of the stock management. After about many hours, finally got his supplies and went back to the doctors. Bullied by a couple of dollars, finally reached the doctors. The doctors praised him and rewarded him. On the way, he met a lizard man, a strong, buff man with a big head, and seemed quite friendly. Alistair tended to a giant gashing wound he had, which he said was a small cut. Luckily saving the lizard's life. Alistair then went over to the inn and met the people within the inn. He saw that a guard had taken the dwarven's position and offered him free drinks. He could notice that the guards in the certain village had high respect for him. This might be because of the priest's words. Alistair then met the inn lady, who then offered Alistair a room for the night. Alistair took a room. During the night, though, a sudden boom and shaken thunder, Alistair looked out the window and saw a giant ice dragon standing on top of the king's statue, and on top of it, a mysterious figure in strange armour. The dragon roared. The moment the dragon roared, the thunder of the skies, the snow hailed like mad, and everyone ran inside and closed their doors and windows. Alistair decided to go, well, that was weird, and went to bed. Alistair then slept through the night and woke up the next day. Alistair took on the adventures of the day, and I don't remember, what did you do the next day? You took on the adventure, you woke up, you got on the adventures. I think that was the day when you, that day you went around and you took a mission from, I think you took another mission from the priest, and that was to find the supplies. Apparently people had unregistered supplies within the city. Alistair thought this was peculiar.
Yeah, and I found an old lady that had them, but I haven't turned her in yet.
He rearranged a meeting date due to the moment that earlier on a guard had offered him a quick job. He asked him if he could help him move a body to the graveyard. Alistair took the deal and was holding the bones of a dead child. Alistair slowly took the bones to the graveyard. On the way, Alistair felt great malice and pain coming from an aura pain from this bag. Alistair thought he should quickly get to the graveyard. On getting to the graveyard, he met a friendly gravekeeper. He placed the bones in the ground and buried it. As Alistair was talking to the graveyard, the grave man asked Alistair who the body was. He said he didn't know, and suddenly he felt a weird feeling from the ground. Not thinking much, Alistair wanted to leave. The moment Alistair left, he was suddenly teleported into a strange place, a long corridor. He felt a huge amount of malice from behind him. Alistair tried to walk as far as he could, and it was just a road with light posts on. He couldn't get anywhere. He was chased by what seemed spirits, and then a monster, and then he woke up on the street. From that point, Alistair felt a dark presence following him, and everywhere he went, he saw dark images. Worried, he went to the head priest for advice. The head priest immediately knew that what had happened, and he asked Alistair to take him to the location. Alistair led the head priest to the church. The priest had assumed that because the bones of the Alistair that had buried were not purified yet, the anger and the grief were being fed on by a demon. He immediately took to destroying the graveyard. He walked onto the graveyard and asked Alistair, the royal knight, who has a squeaky voice, to stand back. He then cast a spell, which unfortunately killed the graveyard keeper. The priest took no care of the graveyard keeper's life and destroyed the entire graveyard, in the process removing whatever dark entity was, but then disrespecting all the dead in the village. He rewarded Alistair with 2 silver and said, "Good job." Though, when Alistair relieved this news to the people in the inn, especially the inn lady took this pretty badly, claiming it was her sister's grave he had destroyed. Alistair warmed up to her and tried to make her feel better with a drink. Alistair ordered a pint, got his head stuck in it, and everyone pulled it out, and it was quite a funny moment. But he seemed to make the woman laugh. Alistair also at some point during the day met a femboy and a femboy in a music shop, like a woodland femboy who taught him about magic and told him the power of musical instruments. And he told him how the king the king Sis, had many great players who would play powerful musical instruments. He told him legends that the king himself had a musical heart so powerful it could change the very weathers themselves. Of course, he hinted at that, and he told him his story. He told him how he tried to become one of the king's royal musicians, but did not have the looks for it. Alistair purchased a magic flute. The flute was played in front, and Alistair saw a beautiful view. Alistair said that at him, and that is where we are up to, future Jack. So that is what you have missed. We forgot to record so far, but we're going to record from now. So now we're going to continue the campaign. Last we left off, Jack went to bed. So we're going to just do a quick scene, and he's going to leave the village. Is that all okay? Does that sound all good to you, what I just did there?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so that will give you context on what's happening so far. That's literally important. That's most of the entire story. Important points across. So now you have context on what happened. So, again, you are fast asleep. Now, I'm not going to build the whole village because we're going to quickly leave, but let me slip from my window. Because I'm boiling hot. I want to be able to focus on the game. Who messaged me in Discord when I said I'm busy? Fucking Fuzz. Why she message me now? Right, anyway. So, you're fast asleep, and again, you hear roar as the room shakes around you. You hear boom, and it knocks you out of your bed. Again, the dragon has landed outside. Do you wish to go look out the window?
Yes.
You get up and go to the window. You see, now the dragon is not at the statue, but on the streets. He barely fits on the small road, but has his wings folded up. Now, you can see the figure on its back. Now, you remember what you were told before about how the head priest was one of his watchers, and the ones who ride the dragons are his hand of power, as he calls them. This figure in pure golden armor, with ice spikes on the top, landed here, and you could see a direct view of him. You could see the head priest and the elite guard, the squeaky voice guard, standing there. They're talking. You can see everyone closing their windows, and the whole village goes quiet real quick when this dragon lands. Okay, when this dragon...
I try.
What do you want to do?
Try to listen in.
You want to listen in?
Yeah, it's just the whole village went quiet.
No, everyone went quiet. Everything went very quiet. Due to the village going quiet, you have a bonus on that. The village goes quiet. You feel the power radiating off this ice dragon. His breath, as his chest moves in, and the ice that breathes out of this breath. Every breath it takes, you feel like you can feel its heart. The amount of life force in this thing is almost overwhelming for you. But the individual speaks on top, and his voice echoes, clear as day. He goes, "Have you brought them?" Head priest goes, "Yes, I have. I have the ones the king wants." He goes, "Good. Bring them to me." Suddenly, you hear muffled noises. Three individuals are brought outside with bags over their head. That wasn't this one. Sorry. This was this one. You notice two of the individuals. You notice this is the inn lady, and this is the rich woman you met in the cargo place. You see two of her elite guards next to them. Royal Guard speaks.
"We think these will do for you,"
he says squeakily. The head priest walks over and he goes, "Yes, these will do perfectly. I think the king will be pleased." He goes, "Good. Bring them to the dragon." So they're brought forth, strained and they're forced to get on their knees. The dragon takes a deep breath in and blows out ice. They're frozen into a cube. You see the The man on top raised his hand up and the ice cube floats up and lands on the back of the dragon. The individual turns to the head priest and says, "Is there any reports? Anything of note I need to know?" He goes, "There was a small amount of demonic activity, but I took care of it." He goes, "How did that happen?" He says, "The graveyard nearby was holding a high amount of malice. I didn't realize it was at its peaking point, and a fool placed angry bones within it." He says, is it a threat?" He goes, "No, I've destroyed it." He says, "Is there anything else I need to know?" He says, "Not too much, no." He goes, "Very well." The dragon roars and thunders its wings. The dragon flies off and the whole city seems to shake, and the snowstorm suddenly starts hitting. You see the elite guards and everyone run inside as the storm gets very heavy. And it goes quiet. All you hear is the snow and the wind.
Oh, I'll go back to sleep.
You go back to bed. You wake up the next day, and you head downstairs, and you went to go to town. You notice that the mutant woman is not there, and you only see the garden in the morning at the bar. Do you want to just leave, or what do you want to do?
I'm gonna say, where's the innkeeper at?
He turns and he goes, I don't know, he says, with a blank face. Not too sure. I think she went out for the day or something. Something seems off about him. You can tell his energy's a lot lower. You're like, you point him. What do you? He's like, what do you?
Alright, I'm gonna just say, oh, well, I hope to see her. I liked her a lot.
He goes, "Me too." And he goes, and he seems to quickly turn around and stop frankly cleaning a mug that's already clean with a rug, trying to look busy.
I'm gonna go get the tailoring.
So,
free tailoring.
You head over to the tailor shop, and you go into the tailor shop, and you see a young dwarven woman. She goes, "Greetings there. What you need? Want some leather work done for you?"
Actually, I need a couple tailoring kits.
Couple tailoring kits for you, alright? How many you want?
3.
3 tailoring kits. That will be, altogether, 25 copper.
Very well, and I hand her the 25 copper.
She takes it and goes, "Here you go. Each one's got 3 uses."
Take away 25 copper.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Boo 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 boo.
And I ask her where I can sell this. What was it?
Goes away.
What's her ice core?
That's a monster item, right? You'll probably want to go to the adventurer store and sell it there for adventure items. But you can use those for crafting, dearie. Or alchemy brewing.
How so?
Well, monster cores hold energy within them. Depending on the creature, they'll have different effects. Slimes are mainly used for alchemic purposes, but some tool smithing uses calls on cores of creatures. Though it's a lesser core, they're pretty common. Like, you can get them anywhere, but you can sell it for a small buck. But you won't get too much for it, since they're pretty common. Almost every slime will drop a core.
Okay.
You maybe get a couple copper for it. Might be more worth it for you to keep it, but it's up to you, Sonny. But I don't buy it here. Only leather for me. By the way,
Okay.
she leans forward. I like the level arm you've got. That looks very fancy. It almost looks like royalty at part of it. I know work like this. And she grabs your arm and she starts like looking around your arm at your leather stitching. She goes, look. She goes, what fine stitching you got here? And she's like, this is definitely upper class. This is really good leather arm you got here. I could upgrade this for you if you want.
How would you upgrade it?
Well, I'd take your leather armor, and I could reinforce the stitching, apply a bit more leather to reinforce it. I think your armor's upgradable. Maybe about... Well, what rank is it? So, is it common and common, she's asking? Like, what level is it? Because your level depends...
It's common.
Common. I could probably get you about 2... It could probably go up to level 2 and upgradable. But I don't think I could improve it any more. But you'd still notice a difference. She goes... It's not too much.
How much?
Well, what's your current defense? The original defense. 50. So she goes, I need to get my DM sheet up. So she goes for a level 1 upgrade is 1 silver. It would go up to 70 defense. So you get an extra I'd probably apply some extra patches here, and I'd probably reinforce the chest a bit more, make it a bit more combat worthy.
Okay, I'll pay 1 silver for that.
You want me to do that? All right. She says, take it off. She goes.
I take it off.
So she's gawking over this thing. She goes, yep, this is royalty. Where did you get this fine thing? He goes, look how tiny it is. It looks like it's for a baby. Goes, aren't you adorable? She takes it over and she gets out a leather. You see, she pulls out leather working tools. Some you've never seen before. And some seems like a dwarven.
I watch her intently. See if I can learn anything.
So you see a set of tools. You see normal basic level working tools, but you see tools you've never seen before. You see a fusion of what seems to be like dwarven tinkering tools. And as she pulls out a weird machine, she places the machine down. She places a crystal on it. She puts the leather. She grabs an extra leather sheet. She measures your arm and cuts around to make it exact same shape. She seems to be measuring your arms, your legs, and your chest. Then she places your suit on the machine and the fit on top. She gets a fine golden string and puts it in the machine, ties it up, and she turns on. She goes, it's a bit loud. She turns on. It's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. It gets really loud as you see a pin go up and down like this, and she starts pushing it through, and it seems to sew it automatically. You've never seen technology like this before. It really impresses you, whatever this machine is. And she's like, hold on. And she goes around and she repeats this process for every little piece she adds. And she goes, there you go. Get a bit more durability in that for you. And she hands it back over to you.
Alright, I take it and I put it on.
She goes, enjoy. She puts all her tools on.
Thank you very much.
She takes the machine and put it away. She puts all her tools away and she goes, you want any more leather work done, you come to me, dear.
I say, by the way, what kind of machine was that?
You're curious about the dwarven machinery, are you? Well, it ain't mine. It's my pa's. He made it. I brought it from the homeland. He was an inventor. One of the best, I personally, but that's a bit biased. But it's called a auto sewer. Apparently, you power it with magic crystals, and it uses the magical energy, and it moves a pin up and down, and it pushes the silk through it, meaning it saves you sewing it yourself and cuts out a huge amount of time. The only problem is, it's a prototype. It's loud, and it's really power hungry, but it does save some time. I've had it for about 5 years, she says. It's a good bit of tech, dwarven tech, I'll tell you that. You should go to the Dwarven Mountains. You'll see some crazy tech there.
Huh. I'll have to visit there then.
Now, there is a Dwarven mine in this continent, up in the mountain, but the mountain's a bit rough area because of the king and all, but I know there's a Dwarven city up there. Well, a small village, not really city anymore. Haven't heard too much from my fam up there, she says.
Where's the closest city from here?
The closest city? Well, that would be... She says, if you, well, she says, you got a map. Because I got a map, if you want a map.
No, I don't have a map.
She reaches in the bag, she pulls out a map. She lays it out, and you see the city. So, she shows you the city. She goes, right, you're here, in this small village. Alright. Now, you've got the king's main capital in the center of it, of the whole continent, is the king's capital. Alright? Now, to your right is the Great Mountains, which is under the king's control. Now, the dwarven people are in the lower area of the mountains due to no one being able to get up the mountains due to the immense snow and the ice. No one seems to be able to get up there. Now, there's another city. Now, there's a city, not a village, in this direction to the left of it. There's a couple small villages. Now, these are quite tiny, all over the place. Now, there's another city over here, a city over here, and finally one last city here. In between, there's a couple small villages. Now, past this land is no man. There's a large area that is we call the no man's land. Now, this area is all snow. This is where the snow, because it never stops snowing here, these areas are really uninhabitable. But the king has made these parts of the city habitable due to his magic. But anything past this point is intense storms, but a lot. She looks up from back. Got a lot of loot out there. I'm telling you, dungeons that never been touched due to the storms, monsters, rare ones, wildlife untouched, hunting grounds, mining grounds, a lot of stuff out there that's not been touched, but no one goes out there due to it being no man land, but I've seen a couple adventurers go out there. Now, she says, if you're ever wanting to do adventuring, the city here has an adventure guild in there. And the main city has an adventure guild, but everywhere else does not. If you're interested in that. Don't know if you are an adventurer, but if you're interested in it.
This place doesn't have an adventurers guild, this city?
She goes, that city does not have an adventure guild. Only the ones I've marked on the map has an adventurers guild.
Okay. Does this one have a mercenary guild?
This one is a mining city from the mountain. This one has a lot of the military force of the capital, almost part of the military force in there. And yes, there are mercenary stuff there. This is more military focused, mining focused, agriculture and magic focused there. And the city got it all. Obviously, the main city's council, though. Can't get in the city if you're a woman, because women can't go in the main city. I don't know why. It's King's rules. A bit of a twat, I think. Don't tell the gods I said that. Women can't go in the main city. So, don't know if you're a lass or not. Can't tell. You're small. She goes, you lass?
Did you ask if I'm a girl?
Yeah, she doesn't know. She's like, you lass? Don't know your species.
I pat my crotch and say, I'm a dude.
Oh, she goes, oh, you'll be fine then. You'll be able to get in the city. I couldn't tell. You're so small. I thought, women are smaller, men are bigger, but whatever. She goes, you'll be able to get in the city, but females can't get into the main city due to the king's rule.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll head to this city then.
Yeah? She goes, do you want to keep this map?
Yes.
Alright. Can I get at least 5 copper for it so I can buy another one?
Of course, here.
Alright, she goes, here you go. Let me take a picture of the map so I can remember it for future reference. You want to take a picture of it? So, because then you've got a map.
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of it.
So that's the current map, and also here is the ocean. Here's the ocean where you came from. But this, sorry, there's an important thing I need to add. Most of this ocean is frozen. Only a small area here, because of the king's magic, can be accessible and leavable. She goes a bit like a frozen fortress. It seems like. She kind of giggles.
Okay. I'm gonna go to this city here, and I might join the military or the mercenary guild.
She goes, oh, alright. She goes, well, I'm glad to help you out. Anything else you need, I'm always here. me move everyone out of the way. And she says, are you heading off? She asks if you're heading off.
Yes, ma'am.
She goes, good luck to you, small one.
I'm not small everywhere.
Seem like it. She says. So you walk out the store and you head out the city, but almost before you leave, you feel a presence behind you, a strong one that appeared out of nowhere, almost appeared out of nowhere, it feels like. And you hear his voice and he goes, Alistair.
I turn around.
He goes,
turn around real quick.
Turn really quick and you see it's the head priest. He seems to be here by himself. And he goes, Alistair, are you heading off? Shame to see you go, but if you must go.
Yes, I'm thinking of either going and joining the military or the mercenary guild in the city by the mountains.
Alistair, why didn't you tell me if you wanted to join the military guild? I am quite close with the military, since I'm the head priest around here. And I can definitely give you a letter of recommendation, since you've helped me out quite a bit here. It might really help you getting into the army if you want. It'll make a big difference.
That would be great.
So he pulls out a very fine pen, like a pen. They have pens. Pulls out. That's because only richer people have pens though, not poorer people. They have quills.
Not quills. Only
quills for poor. Rich get quills. And magic users obviously use quills because you can imbue them with magic. And he pulls out a really fancy looking book. And he writes on it, Alistair Bell, right?
Yes.
So he writes on it, and he rips it off and goes, here you go. There's ice, and you see a little bit of ice at the end of it. And he hands you a letter of recommendation by the head priest. Head priest of the head priest of, what was this village called? The head priest, it's important because there's different head priests. There's only one head priest per major city. There's only 3 major cities, so he would be the head priest of the head. But head priest of the head. So put dash head, because that's important.
Okay.
And it goes, I have 2 other brothers in the other cities if you meet them. Say hi for me. No, they're quite different characters. Don't get on too well, but we must do what the king, our great, great king needs.
Of course, I'll tell them hello when I see them.
He goes, yes. And he says, be careful out there.
I will.
He says, shame you couldn't. He says, did you get any information about that individual? By the way, stealing supplies? Any information I'll pay you for.
I don't remember their name, but I got a meeting with them. But they're really fickle about where they meet up at.
What?
Like, they go to different places.
Okay.
They every night it's a different place apparently.
What did the individual look like? He asks.
Shit, what did she look like?
An older woman. She was an older woman. She said she was friends of the rebels. She was an older woman, friends of the rebels, but she didn't give you much more information on that.
Okay, I said she was a older woman and friends with the rebels, but she didn't give me more information than that.
Alright. He gives you 50 copper and he says, I'll pay you for that information. That does help. He's rubbing his chin and goes, that lowers down some people. I think I might catch them. But we'll see. Good luck to you, Alistair. And he turns around and he has his gorgeous booty waves in your face as he walks back to the city. And he turns out and says, may the king be with you. And he holds his hands in the air like this. In their sign of their prayer.
Like this?
Yeah, like this. But like making a star.
Oh, okay.
Like making a star above. Yeah, there it is. So you do that. So do you do?
I'm obviously not gonna fall. I'm obviously
not
not gonna
fall.
do that. But I'm not. I say with respect though. I will send you off with my greeting. May your spirit endure.
He goes, if you're going to be joining the army, you better get used to it. And he keeps trying to chuckle to himself and walks away. You see, by the way, you noticed when you didn't do that, you did see you saw some sharper eyes form at his feet. You see, you might have hit a nerve with him there, but he kind of chuckled it off when he saw you not do that. So he goes back to the thing. So you now leave the village, and you are now on your way to which one you're going to? Which one were you going to? There's this one, and this one.
The big city between the dwarven
Oh, the
mountains,
God City.
the wasteland.
The God.
Yeah, the
God City.
The mercenary and
God City. Okay.
Military. Yeah.
Okay, right. Now we do your map. So this is going to represent the snow of the land. Oh, just imagine for this. By the way, future and present, Jack. Everything, it is forever snowing, and it is always snowland. So imagine this is always white. I will have this most of the time, unless you're in a building or in a cave or somewhere that doesn't have snow. I will have this colored in to represent when it is white, and I will remove it when it is not white, okay? So when you see this, you're in Snowland. To make it easier so I don't need to scribble everywhere, because I need to build buildings. Let me get a drink, then we'll continue.
Okay.
I needed that woke me up a bit. Right. I want to keep on playing.
What flavor do you have?
I got water mixed with my dye. You know, the dye I put with my water? Because I only drink water.
Yeah, it's kind of like our Mio stuff, I think.
Yeah, whatever your weird version you call it. It's like that, but better.
But better.
Right, let's keep on going with this because I'm enjoying this. Right. I've been wanting to do a proper D&D game for a while. I've not been able to do one with Bulldog. Right, so I need this. I'm going to... Do I pull out the props? It'd save me time.
GM to player, while you're doing this, I have a couple of questions.
No. Yep, go ahead. Ask the questions.
So my plan is if I join the military, right, get really high up in ranks, right?
Oh.
And obviously I'm going to have to do really bad deeds. And once I get powerful enough, kill the king.
Oh, you're going to try and throw him for his ranks. Alright. That seems interesting.
Yeah. If I join the mercenary guild, get powerful enough in the mercenary guild, and make enough friends, kill the king.
Kill the king. You're after
Either way, I'm gonna kill the king.
So you're after the king. Well, what did the king do? Except, you know, be a dictator. But he did bring prosperity to the people. They were all starving before.
Yeah, but they're not free.
They are not free, no. That is an important thing. They are not free.
And it looks like he's making he's getting sacrifices from what I saw with the dragon.
Because of whatever happened to your poor in-friend and the other rich lady you saw, and then that random girl, you don't know who the fuck that was. You don't know that one, but you knew the other one. I love how that dwarf
I
girl...
have to find that out as I get higher in the military or mercenary guild.
Well, well, now you know a bit more about the Kings in a Circle. You now met one of the what they're called, the Watchers. So you have the Dragon Riders, which are the power, and then you have the Watchers, and they're the Kings in a Circle. And then you've heard about these femboys who play music, and they're the king. They're by the king, but you don't know much about them, so you don't know where they stand in a position of power. Right. You kill my king, I won't let you. You can't kill my fanboy king. Bob.
I'm still iffy on that. I might kill him, I might not.
You need to meet him, don't you? You haven't even met him yet.
Yeah, I have to meet him. See how he acts. That's why I'm really dead set on getting into the military and climbing up the ranks, officer ranks and stuff like that.
Mm.
Because if I get to meet him, like if I get distinguished and I get to meet him, I want to see how he acts and how he holds himself. And maybe I'll be able to find out what he does, like with the people.
What, the whoever were taken?
Yeah.
Well, you do know his rule in the main city. Women are not allowed in the main city. Like, they're just not allowed in at all. And the main city's massive. Because that's the capital. That's the capital. That's his capital. So, almost done. Right, so, so you walk a bit, you travel for about an hour before you hit a forest. Well, remember, none of these trees have leaves on them, by the way, because it is a snow forest. So both of you visualize a snowy forest. This is what you see. The snow is mild, and you have snow gear on, so you're not affected by any cold. And you also have your species bonus of your fur, so that will add a layer of heat to you. And this area, this region you're in, is not a heavy area. I'll tell you when you're in a heavy region or not in a heavy region. That's when you get heavy snow. So, your character walks towards the
Noodles
forest.
asleep between my legs.
Oh, baby Noodle. What time is it? It is 12:15, I believe. I'll go until 1, but then I'll have to call out because I can't go to bed any later because we're in my schedule, okay?
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. We can do more tomorrow. Alright. So, your character on the outskirts of a forest. A snowy forest.
I'm gonna start.
What do you want to do?
I'm gonna start heading straight through the forest.
Start walking your way through the
And
forest.
see if I notice anything
Roll.
peculiar about the forest.
So you don't see much. You do see a couple. You see a couple wisps in the tree. Not as high as density as you saw before, but you see a couple flying around the branches, playing around. You don't see anything else because you are too low. You keep on walking forward. I have to keep an eye of your fucking sub-truck. I've got your sub-trucks. So you walk forward and you step on something.
I look down.
You look down and you just see snow, but you've stepped on something under the snow.
I brush the snow away.
And you see a skeleton. You see like an icy frozen skeleton hand.
Whoa. Is it moving?
It's just a hand. What do you want to do? But you got your foot on it.
I take my foot off of it and unbury it.
You take your foot off and you unbury it, and you see what looks like a humanoid skeleton covered in ice. And suddenly,
is there anything on it?
Suddenly, roll. I'll tell you if there's anything on it, depending on your roll. Oh my goodness, silly baby. It grabs your leg like this. The skeleton hand jumps, leeches out the snow, grabs your right leg.
I take out my sword and I stab down.
So you try and stab down, but because you're rolling that one, it pulls your leg and you flip over in the snow, which gives the chance of the skeleton to get out of the snow. Turns around, covered in ice, and you see what looks like an icy skeleton looking at you. You get up out of the snow. It has no weapons. It's just an icy skeleton. So the icy skeleton looks at you. You see its eyes glow blue. Bright blue. coming out of his eyes, like frost. Like you see frost like fall from its eyes as it looks at you.
I get my sword and I imbue it with spirit energy and attack.
All right, take away 15. Take away 15.
From 60.
From 60. 12. So you swing with your ice energy. The skeleton moves its arm, and you hit the ice, and the arm your sword bounces off. Just didn't put enough strength into it. The skeleton retaliates and tries to swing its arm at you. 9. 6. Skeleton bashes your arm, but doesn't do too much damage. Only does 2 points of armor damage. As it's not using a weapon, it's using its bare hands, so it just bashes against your arm. It keeps on screwing. It starts going, spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a... Alright, so, what do?
I use my swordsman skill, and I try and hit it, like, across the chest.
Okay. It rolled 1. Oh, so you slash right across its chest, and you rip off its right arm, and now I can tally down its health. It lost half its health. Due to it not having armor, it lost half its health. I need to fucking... Skeleton. Ice. 50 health. So he's got 50 health. You chopped off 50 of its health. So, skeleton with its the skeleton kind of just goes like this and kind of looks back at you and then lifts up this arm and swings.
Oh, my arm. Oh, fuck it. Ugh.
So that arm flies off and hits the ground and it just doesn't move in the snow. So, the skeleton is quite angry you chopped off its arm. You get ready to roll. Oh my god. So... So the skeleton, enraged that you knocked off his arm, swings down with all its might. You put up your blade to block it, and his hand hits your blade blocks it, and it hits it at just a perfect angle where a small shockwave goes off, and all the snow goes flying in the air, and it looks really epic and cool as the wind goes flying past you both, and you both perfectly counteract each other. It is now your turn. What are you going to do?
I use the momentum that's there, and I attack again.
Alright. You ain't gonna get bonus because he was not 20 with that, so he would.
Right.
But you use the momentum, you swing, the skeleton kind of just tumbles backwards. It's not really agile, and it kind of just barely dodges out of the way by tumbling, and almost falls over, but gets back hold of itself. The skeleton responds by going again, and tries to slam down at you. Not that much effort in this time, seems to be losing passion. As it kind of half-arsely swings its arm down, it just kind of just bounces off you. It had no momentum with it. It's kind of chugging down a bit.
Alright, I'm gonna take my sword and ram it into its chest.
Okay. 16? 16. You ram your blade into its chest and you hit the ice, and your blade just doesn't pierce the ice. The skeleton kind of just goes like this, and looks up at you, and just kind of goes like this, and swings for your head. But he's been pretty slow, so he rolled on that one. So because he rolled on that one, he swings. And he puts too much momentum in it and kind of pulls himself over by his shoulder and kind of falls in the snow. And you see his little legs dangling out of the snow as it's trying to get out, but it doesn't like its arms, so it's going to struggle to escape. So I'm going to give it one escape chance, but it's going to have a -2. Oh, well. It doesn't move out of the snow. What do you want to do? It's just tangling its legs out of the snow.
I'm going to attack it again.
Okay. You going to attack its feet? Because I need its feet poking out.
Yep.
19, -5 because it's in the ground. you chop off a leg. It is at 10 HP. You see the other leg get a lot slower. It attempts to escape. 15, then 2. It starts to wiggle out, but it's about halfway out. But it's not out just yet. What do you want to do?
Okay, I want to attack it, like, right there at the spine between its
Yep, you can do that.
pelvis and ribs.
Yep.
2.
But it's got a negative due to it being in the ground. So, you miss. It doesn't. You kind of swing down and kind of just hit the snow because it's kind of wiggling around a lot. You kind of just misjudge and you miss your swing. So it attempts to wiggle out with its negative. It moves us by an inch. It's still stuck in the snow. You hear it rattling away.
I try to attack it again.
Yep.
Come on.
You kill it. You hit its spine. You chop its spine. The bones aren't moving anymore. What would you like to do?
I'd like to search to see if it has anything valuable on it.
Roll for your search. Also, you need to get your XP. 14. So you get 5 XP to your swordsmanship and 5 XP to your skill for killing this entity.
Okay.
So you find within it 2 lesser ice cores and bones, and it's up to you if you want to take the bones.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the bones. That might be useful.
You get 2 bones and 2 lesser ice cores.
Okay.
Where do you want to go?
I'm gonna head and
Put him over there, he's dead.
first I'm gonna see if I can hear anything.
Roll to listen. So the snow, by the way, is a sound absorber. So I'll knock off maybe when you're in a snowy area. I'll knock off like maybe a point or 2 just because of the snow absorbs sound, which is what it does. You hear, "Oh, go away!" And you hear, "Row, row, row, row," in the distance.
Okay, I'm gonna run for that.
So you start running in. You see 3 large ice wolves barking away, and you see what looks like an orc with braided hair and a little like a meat cleaver, and you hear him go, "Leave me alone, leave me alone," and the dogs are, and the dogs seem no intent of leaving him alone. He's kind of stuck up there. That's what you see. He turns and sees you, and he goes, You help me, please. Get dog away. Me don't like dogs. Go away." And he's just swinging his arm in the air like this.
I'm gonna try and use my charm on the dogs.
What's
My Zen charm.
Zen charm? Alright, you can only do this like one thing at a time, not multiple things. So you have to pick one at a time because you're only level 1. So which one of these 3 wolves are you charming? They all look about the same size. Got the left one, the middle one, the right one. You may need to charm one.
Which one is instigating the most?
You can roll to attempt to look at what's instigating, but they all look like they're barking. But you can roll, and your roll will determine if you can tell which is.
I try to see which one. Yeah, I try to tell which one's the alpha.
You fail. Yeah. They all seem like ice wolves. You already can't tell the difference. He's like, "Go away."
Well, let me look at my skills.
Alright. Oh, by the way, knock off 15 because you used Zen Charm. It hasn't recharged it either, so because you've not been out of combat long enough for a recharge. Because you need a decent time out of combat because you can't just have it instantly recharging to make it balanced, you know.
How long will Zen speed last for?
Zen speed. Did I give you a time period on how long it lasts? Zen speed will last. What level is it? What level is it right now?
Rank 0.
Rank 0. 3 turns for rank 0.
3 turns.
You get 3 turns of and I'll give you.
Okay.
It'll give you a +2 because it's only level 0 to any speed check. It'll give you a +2. That includes dodging if you're dodging or you're blocking, one of the two. Which, by the way, you have XP tools. So there you go.
I'm gonna use my Zen speed
Roll.
to charge and attack the first wolf.
14. Well, you lose 15 spirit energy, and you enter Zen
Right.
siege. You charge your attack. Now roll again to attack the wolf. The dwarf will have a negative because it doesn't know you're coming. 18 will knock off about 4 because he didn't see you coming. Right, so what are you doing? How are you attacking him? Do you want me to describe?
Hang on a second. Hello?
Hello. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Are you back? Is the bow inflated?
Yeah, I'm back.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Right, okay. Okay, so my eyeballs stop hurting. Right, so you slash down your blade into the first wolf's back. You hit the first wolf back. Let me get the HP down. The first wolf, because it was caught off guard, loses 30 HP. So, wolf, ice, 100. So he's at 70.
And I roar.
You roar.
Or not roar, but like growl.
Okay, so
I growl
you growl, but you're tiny.
as I attack.
So you go, ah! You go, ah! But due to your stature and you have no boost to it, you can. I'll give you do a roll then. Do a roll. Go on then. I'll give you a roll. Go on, roll for it. Roll for it, little baby. Roll. Do your roar. You do a somewhat decent one. You go, "Roar!" And the wolf kind of turns because it whimpers and turns to you and becomes aggressive. And the other two wolves kind of turn too. But he, at the moment this wolf turns, he jumps at this wolf at the moment it turns. And because he's...
Oh, good. He's helping me because there's 3 of those motherfuckers.
Because this is a surprise attack, the wolf is going to have a -4, so I'll roll for the wolf. So that's a nat 1, his attack. Okay, so he slashes down with his meat cleaver in its head. It hits the head of the wolf. And the wolf on the right loses 40 HP. And it is bleeding. Bleeding. 4. Well, because it has no way of patching up its wound, it shall bleed until its wound is healed. So, he attacks this wolf. This wolf is stunned for a turn. This wolf will attack you for attacking it. So this wolf attacks you. And it tries to bite you. Roll.
Damn.
It bites into your liver, little liver glove, and you only take.
Oh, I thought you said liver. I'm like, fuck.
No, he ain't going for it. He needs a nat 20 for that. Right, so he tries to bite. He bites your hand. You only take 2 points of armor damage, but your snow armor, a part of your snow armor is damaged by the bite of the wolf.
Okay.
The hand piece of the snow armor is like mid health now.
All right. And it's my turn. Is he locked onto my arm?
Yeah, because he's successful. He bit into he's on your hand, so he's pulling you out. Because you're tiny. Now, this is important, because you're small. You're smaller than this wolf. This wolf is pulling your arm, and he's pulling pretty hard. So, that's
I
what...
take my sword and I go, blah, right
Okay.
into his neck.
That will be his reaction to it for... Right, you hit its neck. And you do critical damage. Because you got the neck, I'll give you as you cut its throat and it dies. Because it's a neck shot. So you kill the wolf. So this wolf dies. Now, this guy... So it's this wolf turns. This wolf needs a turn. This wolf tries to attack the orc. 2. The orc goes, "Me don't like wolf!" And he knocks the wolf back, and the wolf fails the attack. This orc then follows up to slam down his axe into the wolf's head that is stunned. So I have stun. Okay. So this wolf, he slams down, he chops the head off this wolf. Very violently killing this wolf. This wolf...
I dig my hand into the neck of the wolf and get out the blood, and I put it over my face, and I go, "Ah!"
Okay, so you dip your hand in the wolf's neck, and you kind of dribble it on your face, and it smells disgusting. It stains your snow gear's face with blood, and you go, "Ah!" But you're tiny, so you don't look that intimidating.
Well, hang on. Let
roll
me
the roll.
Roaring could be a skill. Roaring could be a skill.
Do you want me to? You know what? I'll do it for the meme. Okay, so you go, "Ah," and he goes, "Oh." They're both wolf and him kind of look at you. So I'll give you a shadow skill of roaring because you're just a baby. How do you spell roaring?
ROW.
ROW.
Wait, I don't know.
We'll just put roar. I'll be able to.
Or let's put RAR.
It has to be settled for.
RAWR.
Right, there you go. Right, so you dodging that. You didn't dodge. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. So you got none of that. So this wolf runs away. He starts running, so he's gonna roll to run. He gets an 18. You're gonna stop him. You need to beat an 18. You don't have Zen charge anymore.
Okay, I'm gonna try and stop him.
19. You catch up upon the wolf. You catch up to the wolf. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna cut him on his back leg and go, "Wah!"
Okay. You slash his leg. He takes 20 HP damage. The wolf immediately spins around and tries to bite and goes right for your head. Just spins around and goes right and jumps at your head. A free. So it span around so quick that it kind of catches you off guard and kind of spooks you. And the wolf spins around too quick and the wolf kind of falls over in the snow. And you kind of fall back over, a bit spooked by the wolf. The wolf kind of falls over. So you fall over. The orc tries to get the wolf. The orc goes, he trips over the wolf's corpse. He goes, "Oh!" The wolf kind of takes the opportunity while you're both falling over, and the wolf does get away. And he escapes. You get 10 XP towards your sword skill, and you get 3 XP towards Zen speed. So make sure to put that XP. You don't get any towards charm because your charm failed. Tell me where you saw it. Remember, hit me up when you reach a level up. Because past level.
I got 10 through sword skill.
Okay. I think 15. No, it was 10. No, it's 10. Sorry. No, it's 10. Sorry, I was just making sure.
Alright, I'm gonna rest for a little bit and try and repair my gear while I figure out what this guy was doing in the middle of the forest.
So the orc gets up And he goes, me covered in blood, icky. And he kind of kicks the dead wolf, and he comes over, and he goes, you helped me, thank you. And he gives you, roll, and I will tell you what he gives you. Your roll will determine what he gives you. No, and he gives you what type of stone? He gives you a rare stone of strength for his gratitude, which is used
A
to.
rare stone of strength.
Stones are used to level. So when your skill reaches when you want to reach level 2 in any skill, beyond that point you'll need stones to ascend your skills. So
Okay.
he gives you that as his gratitude. So you have a rare stone of strength. And it's a red stone with a muscle symbol on it. And he goes, here, you take this from our clan. Strength. He says, it's rare, so be careful. But you saved my life.
I said, of course. Anybody in need.
He goes, me tiny. I be future cook. But I come to forest to find ingredients, and wolves chase me on this stone thing over here. And he points behind him.
Yeah. And I'm wondering what that stone thing is. I go and look at the stone thing. I say, and as I'm walking, I say, well, I'm Alistair. It's nice to meet you.
And he goes, hi, Alistair. You're very small. Are you a child? What do you say?
No, I'm 85.
He goes, what? 85? He go, so you grandpa?
I said, well, I'm kind of a kid in where I come from, but...
So he's confused by this. He goes, I don't understand. He's quite simple-minded. So you walk over to this weird stone ring, and you see it's a hole. And you look over into the hole, and you see there's a light down there, but it's not too deep. About maybe 3 trees, you estimate.
I said, what is this?
He goes, I don't know. I come first to find mushrooms, but snow don't help. It might be, he say, it might be dungeon. Dungeon has loot. He goes.
I said, would you like to do this dungeon with me?
He goes, you want me to do dungeon? But orcs say I'm stupid and can't do dungeon, no. Can't do anything, they say. And he kind of has his fingers like this, and he's kind of looking at the ground. They call me
I say,
weak.
well, you took care of those I say, you take care of those wolves pretty damn well.
Yeah, we don't like wolves. Wolves nasty. They mean to me when I small orc. He goes, by the way.
I say, just imagine everything in this dungeon is a wolf.
He goes, me kill wolves. We don't like them. Me get wolves. And he almost jumps into it. Then really he goes, that's pretty deep. Me maybe not jump in. He says, you want wolves? I'd take some meat. And he starts harvesting one of the wolves, but he points to the other body saying, you can have it. He says, you can have that one. I have this one.
Okay, I skin it and then I take the meat.
Okay, so you roll to harvest the wolf. So you get a ruined leather pelt, and you get one chunk of meat, and you get a lesser beast core out of it.
Okay.
All monsters will drop lesser beast core. Every monster will always drop a core no matter what your roll is, okay? That's like the base loot of every monster. So it's a lesser beast core you got from it. It's like a little ice thing in its chest. And it is the color of black. So now that he's your companion, I need to add him. How do you spell orc?
Orc is spelled O-R-K.
Well,
I asked him if he knows how high a level this dungeon is.
he goes, what is level dungeon? He goes as he kind of plays with his fingers. He goes, me don't know, only elders know dungeons. I've never been allowed in one, but it looks small. I think small dungeon. That's what he says.
Okay.
He go, my name Tiny.
I say, Tiny, is there a village close to here?
He says, well, it's a little track, but my village that way. And he points this way. He goes, it's a little
Is
bit.
it in the direction that I need to go?
I go, no, it's not. It's that direction. Your direction is that direction. He says about.
Oh, okay, well, shit.
He says about our journey. I travel far. I could not find forest.
Well, I really want to get to this city.
He goes, but we get dungeon. Do you not want dungeon? I thought you want to kill wolves in there. As he shakes his fist. He go, we share treasure.
Say, will you do this dungeon with me?
He goes, yes. He goes, you're nice to me. You saved me. I owe you my life. I will come with you. I will,
Okay, well, let's do this dungeon then.
do my best. So, let me tell you his stats. So his intelligence is really low. So he has a negative to any intelligence roll. He has a -5 to any intelligence because he's an idiot. So anything to do with intelligence is a -5.
Okay.
So I need to put intellect -5. He has level 2 in strength. He has 100 HP, and he has 50 armor. He has light armor. Alright, and he has a meat cleaver as a weapon. He has a shadow skill, which is a +3, but you do not know the shadow skill. So that is his stats, and if you ever want to know your companion stats, you ask. So now he is in your party. He is a companion. A companion will level up the moment they become a part of your party. If they're not in your party, they will not gain the special party leveling up system. They will gain the outside system, which is separate. So now he's in your system. He's a level, so he works a bit differently. He's a level 0 party member. They can go up to 10. Alright? That's the most powerful.
10 people in my party?
No, you can have as many people as you want.
Level 10.
Level 10. That's the highest any NPC can reach, and that is immensely powerful. Level 10. That is very powerful, but that is the highest that anyone can go. He is 0.
Okay.
He has to be in your party to receive XP to level up. Okay, so that's how your party system's going to work. You can have a maximum of, I'll say for now, unless you level up leadership, you can have only 5 people in your party for the time being. That will gain XP. Now, you can have more people, but they won't gain the party system. They'll just be basic NPCs, and they won't get any bonuses.
Right.
Unless they're special, okay? Does that make sense? But if you level up your leadership, I'll let you have more in there, okay? So, why don't we leave it here, outside the dungeon, because I gotta go to bed. I'm quite tired, my eyes are hurting. But we'll leave it here for now, okay? And we'll come back tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. What did you think so far?
I like it.
Okay. Now you've got Tiny in your party.
Don't forget to stop the recording.
No, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it running when my PC's off. No, I'll turn it off in a second. Say goodbye, Jack.
Good boy.
Goodbye, Jack.
Whoa.
Oh, I bore you.
No.
And you're gone. You're in my belly, and then my boobs grow with your meat. It just fucking